Hello students, welcome to Sreenath Academy. In this video, we are going to discuss the fourth chapter, which is sorting materials into groups from 6th class CBSE science subject students. So my name is Karthik Nune. We are creating videos on all chapters and all subjects from class 6 to class 12. So please do subscribe our channel. Also like and share our videos. So without wasting time, we will begin this chapter, students. So what is our present chapter name, students? That is sorting materials into groups. Sorting materials into groups, students. Okay, so this is our present chapter we are going to discuss now. So now we will see what are the topics we are going to discuss, and after that we will discuss each topic in detail. So first thing is we are going to know what are the objects around us and how from those materials, from which materials those objects are made, and what are the materials involved in making different objects. That is the thing we are going to discuss, students. That is the first topic, and the second topic is the properties of materials. So different materials has different properties, and by knowing the purpose and the properties of the materials, we can use those materials to make different objects, students. So some of the properties are appearance of the materials and the hardness of the materials, soluble or insoluble of the materials, and objects may float or sink in water. So that is one type of property. And next thing is the transparency of the materials. So all these things we are going to discuss now, students. So I think you are very excited to learn this chapter. So without wasting time, we have completed the chapter overview. Now we will start discussing each topic. So finally our overview is completed. Hello students, now we will discuss about objects around us. So what are the objects around us? So in the previous chapters we have discussed about food, and there are different varieties of food items, and there are different varieties of ingredients. So using those different varieties of ingredients, we are preparing different types of foods. So there are the large variety of foods. After that we have discussed about clothes, fabrics also. There are different types of fabrics. Using different types of fibers, we are preparing different types of fabrics, and basing on the seasons, basing on the purposes, we are wearing different types of cloths, fabrics, like that. So similar to it, we are having different types of materials around us, and we are seeing there are different types of objects around us. Okay students, there are vast variety of objects around us. Suppose chair, bullock cart, cycle, cooking utensils, all the different objects. There are some objects in this picture also. This is a toy, this is a tumbler, and this is a paper, like that. This is also a toy, this is the cell phone. So different this is the CD, this is the locket. So different types of objects and the different types of materials are there in our surroundings. So all these objects are having different colors. They are having different colors, and they are having different shapes also, and they are prepared for different uses also, for different purposes. We are these objects are there, students. Suppose by seeing this picture, let us group some of the objects. Our group constraints, let us group some objects which are round in shape. What are those objects? That is rubber ball. Rubber ball is a object which is round in shape. Football, cricket ball, all balls will come under the round shape. And some glass marbles, so they will also come under round shape. So we can group objects based on the shape. So this is one thing. And if you include a nearly round, they are perfect round shape. If you include nearly round objects, so nearly round objects is what? That is apple, oranges, all those are also nearly, they are having nearly round shape. These are different objects. These are the fruits now. So we can like apples or whatever it may be. So in this way we can group objects based on some condition, based on some color, or based on some shape. So if you move further, we will move further. So we will make or we will group objects based on the material they have you prepared, or sorry, based on the material used to prepare. Suppose we will see some objects which are made from plastic. So what are the examples? Toys are the plastics, and lunch boxes or plastic, and buckets, there will be plastic buckets. No, so by considering this concept that is based on the materials, suppose taking the plastic materials, we can group some of the objects by shape, by color, by materials also we can group some objects. So by using different means or different conditions, we can separate materials, we can group materials, or we can group object, students. So now what we will do is we will move further and we will do move further and we will do some more things, that is we will make some other groups. Okay, students. So finally, if you see all the objects, that all the objects are made up of some of the materials. Here plastic is one of the material, and all the objects are made from some type of materials. Suppose what are the materials? Plastic. So toys like that things are made with plastic materials, students. There are materials which are made with metals. Okay, students. And there are some materials which are some objects which are made from glass, students. So there will be glasses. No, there will be plastic glasses, there will be metal glasses, there will be glass glasses also. So like that. And there will be doors, and doors will be made with wood. There will be some wood based materials also, objects also. And your pillows will have cotton on it, so cotton based objects are also there. So paper based objects are also there. So your book is consists of paper, no, like that. And mud or soil based. So in our olden days, our ancestors will use mud utensils. Now we are using stainless steel, metal, like that. So there are different types of materials. Using those different types of materials, different objects are made. Okay, students. So now what will we do? We will collect all the possible objects around us, and every day the objects which we are using around us, and make them into a table. Okay, students, like this. So now we will make some group. First is separate paper or wood based objects which are prepared using paper or wood. So we have to group these type of objects, and you have to group all the objects which are not prepared by or which are not made from paper or wood onto another group. So here we are grouped the objects based on the material called paper or wood. So the objects are collected which are made from paper or wood, and all other objects are made into another group. Here we are make the group of objects which are made from plastics, like that. So we will move further and we will do systematically. So now we will observe the objects. We will take the objects in the table like this: plate, pen, like that, book, like that. And what you have to do? You have to do materials they are made of. So basically plate, if you take the object plate, so you will see steel plates, you will see glass plates, you will see plastic plates also. If you see any, there will be mud plates also. So like that, take the objects around you and write it in the column box, and find with which materials they have made it. What are the materials used in making those objects? After that, we will find there are some materials which are common. Objects may be different, where there will be large variety of objects, but there are some common materials which are used in making objects. So now what we will do? We will form another table. Now we will write the materials. Wood is material, paper is a material, leather is a material, plastic is a material, cotton is a material, glass is a material, and we will write the in one box different types of materials, and in the other box objects which are made using wood. So using wood, what we can make? We can make chair, table, door, window, block cards, etc. And using paper, we can make books, notebooks, newspapers, toys, calendars, like that. So you have to write the different types of materials and the different types of objects which are made using these materials, friends. So in this way you have to group it. In this way you have to complete this. So finally, what is our conclusion? So in some cases, what happened? Sometimes an object is prepared or made using different type of materials. In some cases, an object is made using different types of materials, friends. Okay, suppose different types of materials in an object, a particular object, friends. Okay, suppose if you take these spectacles, so here here it is the glass material and it is the some steel type material. So two types of materials are there in my spectacles. So in this way, some objects may formed from, example is spectacles. Spectacles are made from plastic, or sorry, not plastic, from glass. There is glass material used in its preparation, and steel or plastic, whatever it may be. Steel or plastic, whatever it may be used, or iron, whatever it may be used in the preparation of spectacle, students. So this is the procedure. So and how you know and what makes which material is used? So basically, depending upon the purpose of the object, we can decide which material you have to use. So that is all about the first concept, friends. What are the different objects and what are the different materials around us? So we have completed the first topic, students. Hello students, now we will discuss about the properties of different materials. So students, we will use tumbler to hold water. So if the tumbler is made with paper, what happens if you pour water? So the water will come out of it. So we will decide which objects to be made by which materials based on the purpose. If you want to hold the liquid, you have to make a tumbler with glass or metal, like that, or steel, like that, students. So the purpose of the object decides the which material to be used for different things. So finally, we have to know what are the properties of materials. So our properties are, appearance is one of the property. So if you see wood and if you see iron, so both are different, looks like different. Both does not looks like same. But iron, copper and aluminum will looks like same. Now take different types of materials and cut them and see whether the materials are shiny or whether the materials are luster. Observe it and do all the materials cut, as many materials you can possible, cut them. So you will observe some materials as shiny and some materials as luster, like that. So sometimes cutting the fresh edges will not show that much of difference. In that cases, you can rub the surface of the material with a sandpaper if it has a luster. Okay, student. So finally, some materials that have luster are usually metal. So what are the materials which are having luster are called iron, metals. All they will have, all they will appear as luster, students. Okay. So and some of the materials, some metals often lose their shine, and so some metals, what they will do after some time, they will lose their shine. Why? Because means it is due to the action of air, and it is due to the what we called as the and due to the action of air and moisture, they will form a rust on it. Example, iron, due to moisture and air, students. So finally, we can say that the materials which are luster or iron metals like that, students. Okay, that is about the appearance. So this is the one property. And what is the another property is hardness. So if you see some materials, if you press them with your hand, they will be bend or they will be compressed. But some materials you can't bend them or you can't compress them. So the materials which can be compressed, or scratched, we call those materials as soft. The materials difficult to compress are called as hard. Suppose examples are iron. We can't compress iron with your hand, students. Example, cotton or plastic. So cotton materials or plastic materials, we can compress them. So this is about hardness, students. So this is also one of the property. And previous thing is about the appearance. Some looks like a luster and shiny. And next thing is about soluble or insoluble. Some substances are soluble and some substances are insoluble. What are those and what are these? So take some solid substances like sugar, salt, chalk powder, sand and sawdust. So take 5 glasses of water and pour this salt, sugar, chalk powder, sand and all these in different bakers with water and stir them, and after some time observe the glasses, is there any materials. If you take the sugar, is there sugar particles, solid particles, sugar substances in the glass of water or not? So if there is no particles or the substances, solid substances, we say that it is there, the substances are soluble. So you will notice that some substance has completely disappeared. So completely disappeared. So if if there are substances, sugar substances or sawdust or any substance, some solid substances, if they are completely disappeared after stirring in the water for some time, so we call those as the soluble. Example is sugar and salt. We can't find them. And if they are not completely disappeared, not completely disappeared, then we call those as the insoluble. Example, sawdust. So sawdust will not be dissolved or they will not be disappeared after stirring for so many times and standing for so much time. So these we called as the insoluble. So this is the one of the property, solubility, students. And now if you take some juices like or some solutions like vinegar, lemon juice, mustard oil or coconut oil or kerosene or any other liquid. Now take these solutions and add them with water and stir them continuously and wait for some time. Observe the readings. So after some time vinegar will be mixed well with the sugar, which the water, lemon juice and mustard oil. What happens to all this? Observe these readings. Okay, students. So some liquids are soluble. They are completely mixed up. And there are some gases also, they are also soluble in water. Some gases are soluble in water and some are not. For example, oxygen gas is dissolved in water. Example is oxygen gas is dissolved in water, students. And oxygen is very important for us. Okay, students. So this is about solubility and insolubility. Another concept, another property is float or sink. So what happens, some solutions or some substances when added with water, some will float and some will sink. So in the previous activity only, what happens, some solutions will not mix with the water. So what happens, they will float on the surface of water. float on surface of water. Surface of water. Some liquids, so they are not mixed with, and they will suppose oils, we take kerosene oil, any oil, so those oils will not be mixed with the water, they will float on the surface, so we call the oil like substances. And what are the some of things? Suppose if you take lemon juice, what happens? It will sink in water. Some juices or some water things, some liquids or some substances that what are those substances? Yes, lemon juice is one of the substances. Lemon juice, what happens? It will sink in water, it is dissolved in water, those substances which sink. And if you see dried leaves, they will float on water, but some non-waters, but stones will sink in water, so there are the different objects. Key, these also sink, but some objects will float on water. And the next property is transparency. You are familiar with playing a game called hide and seek. So in that game, all the players will go and hide. If anybody is hide behind the glass window, he is clearly visible. So we know in the shops also, the shopkeeper will place the food items in a glass jar, so that food items will be visible through the glass jars. So finally there are some materials we call as the transparent materials. Properties transparency, which we call as the transparent materials. Those substances are materials through which things can be seen. So materials through which things can be seen are called transparent materials. Example, glass jars that are placed in shopkeepers' food items. So things can be seen, the food items can be seen like that. Example are glass, air, water, all these are the transparent materials. It is the property of transparency. And there are some objects, some materials called opacity. So we can't be seen. So through these materials can't be seen. Through these materials we can't see the things or the objects. Suppose if examples are wood, iron, and some type of plastic also. So if he placed, or metals, stainless steel. So if he placed, shopkeeper placed the food items or the chocolates or anything in the steel boxes, can we see all those chocolates? We can't see. So we call those as the opaque or opacity. This is the one type of property, students. And there is another property that we call as the translucent. What it is? Take a white paper and add some 2-3 drops of oil to it, and try to see through the paper. Then you will see the things, not clearly, but you will see things. So we call that as the translucent materials. So before without dropping the oil drops, you can't see, that paper is opaque. But after oil drops, that paper become translucent. What it is, students? Translucent. Why translucent? Translucent, not clearly visible, but visible. Not clearly visible. But we can see, but not clearly. So those are the translucents. Suppose the torch is falling on your palm, so that light is traveling through the palm. So this is called translucent. And oily paper, that is also translucent. So which means if you clearly see the things, then we say it as the transparent. If you can't see the things, we say that is the opaque. If you see partially, what it is, partially seen, partly seen, or partially seen, not clearly, partially, then we say that as the translucent material, students. So these are the different properties of the material, students. So finally our chapter is completed, students. Our chapter is completed. Hello students, now we will discuss the summary of the sorting materials into groups. So in this, the first topic is objects around us, students. So there are different types of food materials and different types of clothes, and there are different varieties of objects also. So there are some are having different colors, some are having different shapes, and some are objects are for different uses, and some are objects are made with different materials, students. Suppose if you take if you want to make a group of round shaped objects, then rubber ball, football, glass, marbles will come it. Suppose if you want to take group nearly round objects, apple, oranges, like that will come. Suppose if you want to take a group materials which objects which are made with plastic materials, then toys, lunch boxes, buckets will come. Suppose if you want to make and finally, what are the different types of materials we are encountering is the plastic, metal, glass, wood, cotton, paper, mud and soil, students. So there are different types of materials. Using those materials, different objects are made. So finally, what we have discussed is we have made find out the different objects and what are the materials used to prepare them. After that, we have discussed another table in that different types of materials which we are using to prepare objects, and using those materials, what are the objects we are making, all the list. So finally, you will get the different variety of objects and different variety of materials which are used to make different varieties of objects, and based on the purpose of usage, you will make different objects using different materials. And next thing is we have to know there are different types of materials. We have discussed it. Now we have to know what are the properties of the materials. First thing is the appearance, whether they are shiny or luster. So iron metals like that are luster, and hardness is another property. So some are compressible, so we call it as a soft, and some are difficult to compress, we call it as the hardness or the hard materials. And about the solubility, some solute substance, some substance of the some materials will completely disappear in your water after dissolving in it. So we call it as the soluble in water or the solubility, soluble substances. Some substances are not completely dissolved, they are partly dissolved. So we call those as the insoluble in water. They are not soluble substances. And there are some liquids which are soluble in water. There are some liquids which are not soluble in water. There are some gases which are soluble in water, and there are some gases which are not soluble in water. So examples of the gases are oxygen, it is soluble in water. And another property is float or sink. So some substances will float on water, some substance will sink on water. Example is oil, dried leaves of sponge. All these will form, all these will float on water surface. But some substances will sink, that is stones, lemon juice, or vegetables, or not all vegetables. Some objects, plastic, some metal objects will sink. This is also another property. Next thing is the transparency. So transparency. So materials or the objects. So materials or the objects, materials through which things can be seen. If for example, through glass we can see, through air we can see, through water also we can see what are the objects or the things behind it. So we call as the transparent materials. And through some materials like wood, iron, plastic, we can't see what are the behind the these materials. So we call the opaque materials. And there are some materials through which we can partly see. We can't completely see, we can partly see. So those materials we call as the translucent materials, students. So finally, our chapter is completed. Our summary is also completed, students. So hope we have understood well. So don't forget to subscribe Sreenath YouTube channel. Also like and share our videos. So follow on Instagram and join our Telegram channels. Have a nice day. Keep smiling. Bye bye, students.